Hi everyone, you are now busy with module 6, which is all about communicating with meaning. Communication is so important for practitioners because you are communicating with the children, you are communicating with parents, you are communicating with principal, you are communicating with other practitioners. So it's really, really important to know how to do this professionally and to know about things like report writing, how to read reports that you maybe get from references. If you get a report from, let's say, a speech therapist or social worker, you need to be able to read it in the correct way and also be able to write reports if that is needed. And then obviously speaking is very important because you are constantly talking to the people around you, and it's important to just reflect a little bit on how is a good way to do that and how all the factors that have an influence on how we talk and how we read and how we listen. So when we read, it's important to look at the subject. So that's the name of the thing that you are reading, which should tell you what it's all about. If you, for example, take the car magazine, the name of the magazine is Car, so you know it will be all about cars. So in the same way, when we read an article or we read something in the newspaper, the title will tell us a lot about what is it going to be all about. Then we have to focus on important points. So when we scan through the thing that we are reading, what is the important things that I need to take note of when I read this? And we move on to finer details, instructions. It's also important to take note of who wrote this, where are they from, what are their cultural beliefs, and just take those things into account because it does have an effect on the meaning of something. When we look at writing, it's important to ask yourself, who am I writing this for? So something that I write to my friends will not be the same as something that I write to my principal, for example. I have to take into account how formal it should be. I have to take into account the vocabulary that I'm using, so the words that I'm using. I can't use slang language in something professional that I'm wanting to write. So those little things are important. The structure and the order that you are writing things in. And then also to make sure that you use relevant information. I can't give you training or information about something that's happening in America or Australia, as it won't be relevant to South Africa and what's happening here. So it's important in the same way to, when you write a letter to your parents, when you write an article, it's important to remember who you are writing it to and how they will understand what you are writing. So read carefully through module 6 and make sure to make contact with your facilitator if you have any questions.